Saints fans, you are going to love what Chris Olave recently said in an interview. We're going to dive into what he recently spoke about because number 12 has sounded off and talked about the trade rumors, the injuries, and everything in between. So welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to break this down in full detail. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and without further ado, let's break this on down. So before we dive into what Chris Olave said, I wanted to add some context around this conversation because in case you didn't know, there is an extensive history in terms of head injuries for number 12, dating back to his time at Ohio State. He's had 5 total head injuries. 4 of those have been with the New Orleans Saints. 1, he missed 0 games in college. He suffered a head injury early on, didn't miss any time. This one was the most significant. He missed 8 games. He actually suffered 2 concussions over the last season, if you forgot about it. 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 against the Carolina Panthers. The NFC South clearly has a vendetta to try and kill this man. I don't know why, but yeah, I guess that's the only way they can beat us. Unfortunately, though, for Chris Olave, like we've said, there is a conversation to be had around the head injuries because they are significant. And, you know, head injury is not something to play around with. It's something you got to take seriously. And for what it's worth, I do want Chris Olave to stay healthy. Please, 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 for the love of God, Kellen Moore, Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, do not set this player up for failure. Do not set him up to get injured because when he is on the field, he is absolutely incredible. A proven 1,000-yard receiver when he can be available. 4 touchdowns his rookie campaign, 5 his sophomore season. And then last year, it was a lot left out on the table because of all the time he missed due to those concussions. And Chris Olave is a very special football player. I'm a big fan of his game, and I do believe he is going to be extremely impactful for the New Orleans Saints this upcoming season. Kellen Moore has even praised the player, and he said that he's had an excellent offseason. He's had an excellent career so far, and he's going to have an excellent future. So hearing that makes me feel even more confident in Kellen Moore in using and scheming up plays for Chris Olave. Again, this is a very talented player. I truly don't believe we've seen him fully be unlocked and we haven't seen his full potential and his full capabilities because of 1, bad play calling, 2, poor quarterback play, 3, injuries, of course. Now, it is also worth discussing. Chris Olave has said he wants more deep ball targets. He wants to get more action down the field. Obviously, Rashid Shaheed is one of the best in the National Football League at that aspect in the receiving game. But Chris Olave at Ohio State was a deep threat, and he recognizes that that is still a very prominent part of his game. So we talked about Chris Olave. We've told you about what Kellen Moore said, and he is going to have a big impact. So now let's get to the injury update from Chris Olave himself. He talked about his injury and he talked about the concussion and having to be sidelined for so much of the season last year. He said it was tough at first. I ain't really ever sat out that long. That was my first major injury. Just not being able to go and practice and go to meetings with my guys was the worst part. But I feel like I'm ready. I was training and lifting and everything in December. So I feel like I'm good. December, 6 months ago, this guy was already back on the field. Did not play, obviously, but I think that this is a really good update. They said I was okay back in December when they cleared me. It was just unlucky situations I was being put in. God's got me at the end of the day. I'm not worried about nothing, so just got to go out there 100% and be ready. Excuse me. So I'm just going to say this. Saints fans, we're going to take a moment. We're going to pray together. If you do not pray, that's A-okay. Just moment of silence. Dear God, please, 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 football gods, I am begging you, please, 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 keep Chris Olave healthy. Keep him healthy this season. Protect this man at all costs. Keep number 12 on the field because he is such a key part in this offense. And if he is firing on all cylinders, the entire offense is firing on all cylinders. I really do have a lot of faith in the player, and I think that Chris Olave can be a massive crutch for whoever the young quarterback is that ends up taking the most snaps this season. All in all, I'm really excited about Chris Olave, and I think that he is a player that needs to be protected. He's a player that I'm excited about, and I think this year will be the best season yet for number 12. So how many yards do you think Chris Olave will have this season? Over, under? I'm going to set it at 1,200 yards. Do you think he has more or less than 1,200 total yards? I'm hammering the over on that one. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about Chris Olave speaking on the trade rumors. He had a lot to say. He discussed it. He put them to rest, and you are going to love what he had to say. But I'm also going to tell you, you're going to love this product, Chubby's Shorts. If you haven't already, what are you doing? Go get yourself some Chubby's gear. The most comfortable shirts, the most comfortable shorts, the best looking swimsuits you could possibly get in the whole wide world. And you can get yourself some at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Summer's here, which means it's officially time to let the dogs out. And by dogs, we mean your legs. If your pups have been stuck in jeans or sweats for the last few months, fellas, it's time to set them free with the lined swim collection from Chubby's. The biggest sale of the year is on at Chubby's, which means $45 bottoms, both shorts and swim trunks, and up to 65% off select gear. It's the perfect time to donate your decade-old shorts and refresh your wardrobe. Give your legs the summer they deserve. Father's Day, it's right around the corner. If you are scrambling for a last-minute gift, get your dad a really fresh polo. Get him a new swimsuit. Get him a pair of shorts. I promise you, he's going to look good, and you're going to be the son or the daughter of the year because you got your dad the best gift he could possibly get. They're comfy, they're casual, and built for life. The Chubby's original stretch shorts can live on your legs. I want to show you this video real quick. I need you guys to see how awesome these shorts are. They're stretchy. They're flexible. I mean, I already know I'm looking Dapper Dan. I got the squat. Those legs, those puppies are barking. I mean, look at that. So much flexibility, so much movement, and Chubby's is here to make you not just look good, but feel amazing. So don't wait for a limited time. Shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year for $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear. Hit up chubbyshorts.com and grab your favorites before they're gone. And guess what? If you miss the sale, no biggie. You can use our exclusive code CHAT. That's code CHAT for 20% off. Support the show and let them know we sent you. Saints now by Chat Sports when the survey asks. And get ready to turn some heads. Summer's here. Dress like it in Chubby's. So let's talk trade rumors because this is a point I've made before and it's a point I'm going to continue to make. I understand why Chris Olave trade rumors exist. He's a very good player. He's very young. The New Orleans Saints are not in a position where they're competing for a Super Bowl. So in that regard, I understand why teams want a player like Chris Olave. I understand why the CBSs and the PFFs and the Bleacher Reports and ESPNs and all of those of the world, why they are saying Chris Olave trade would make sense. But I'm also here to tell you, those same publications, those same people, they're not really paying attention to the New Orleans Saints. They're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall. They're kind of just saying, this is a pretty interesting idea. This will get us some clicks. I know your team needs a wide receiver, so why don't you go get this one from the New Orleans Saints, who's a proven 1,000-yard commodity when he's healthy. He just needs a change of scenery. Like, I understand the argument. I get it. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Because if you forgot, the New Orleans Saints actually picked up Chris Olave's fifth-year option, so why the hell would they move off of him? They're not going to. Chris Olave, he even said about these trade rumors, it's all rumors, man. In the offseason, everybody's trying to have something for clicks. So, I love it here. I love the front office. I love my coaches. I'm excited to be here, and I want to be here forever. Lopez, one more time for the people in the back. I want to be here forever. It would be so stupid to trade away Chris Olave. Financially, it wouldn't make sense. In terms of the roster, it wouldn't make any sense. And to be totally honest, I'm not knocking Chris Olave as a player, but I don't think his trade value is as high as we'd want it to be, considering the injury history and considering the recency bias of how little production he had last year. Granted, it was due to injuries. He would have been a great player and would have had another 1,000-yard season if he was available. But, I just think it would be so dumb to move off of Chris Olave because, quite frankly, I believe he's a player that the Saints should try to build around. He's a player that not only am I confident in moving forward, he's a player I'm confident in building around because he is a key piece of this offense. He is a very dynamic wide receiver, and he's a player that truly is a special talent. He just needs somebody who can be a consistently good passer to him. He needs somebody to scheme up plays for him. That's really all this is. Chris Olave is a phenomenal football player. He is a player that the New Orleans Saints should focus on building their entire offense around because that is how special of a player and that is how quality his skills are. I do believe in him a lot. I do think that he's a great football player, and I want to see him be around forever. To be honest, it would be so cool to see him be a career New Orleans Saint. I think that you really have something special in this player. It would be so dumb if you traded him. Now, describe Chris Olave in 3 words or less. I'm going to use my 3 words. I'm going to go, hoo, because he's a dog. Those are mine. I'm going to bark twice because he's a dog. I think Chris Olave is an absolute animal. So get in the comment section and describe Chris Olave in 3 words or less. Good luck. So really quickly before we hop on out of here, I want to take a look at the wide receiver group. Because with Chris Olave, we've talked a lot about how good of a football player he is, but I also think he's a nice compliment to the Rashid Shaheed and Brandon Cooks and Bub Means on the roster specifically. Obviously, speed is a massive factor on this depth chart. There's not a lot of size, not a lot of strength, but between Bub Means, Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, and Rashid Shaheed, I actually don't dislike that wide receiver group. To be totally honest, I think the New Orleans Saints wide receiver core is very underrated. I understand why people are overlooking them because there are some holes. And to be honest, Brandon Cooks, he's a little bit older on the back end of his career. Rashid Shaheed, very dynamic, very electric football player. But there's just a lot of questions that still need to be answered in the wide receiver room, in my opinion. And you definitely want to see more production out of them. But again, I'm just going to say, don't sleep. Do not sleep on the New Orleans Saints wide receiver group. If you get the offensive line and the quarterback figured out, I really do believe in this core. So Rashid Shaheed, I want to hone in on him really fast. Very, very fast. Very, very dynamic player. He looks like he's actually put on some weight and some muscle. So for him, he's a massive, massive deep threat and he has deep threat ability. And on top of that, the special teams, the versatility, have him run the football. The first 2 touches this guy ever had in the National Football League went for touchdowns. A deep pass and a long run. And I want to see him get more of that opportunity because I, as you know, am a diehard Rashid Shaheed fan. I have been high on him since the minute he was signed as an undrafted free agent out of Weber State. And I think that this is a player that honestly is a great running mate for Chris Olave. Bub Means, let's focus in on him. 6'2", 215 pounds. Big year coming for Bub Means. He's been looking really solid at minicamp and at OTAs. And for what it's worth, I think that he's the player that could fill in as that X-type receiver. He is the biggest wide receiver on in the depth chart for what it's worth. On top of that, maybe you look at Juwan Johnson because he does have a history of being a wide receiver and he can be that big-bodied presence as a receiving threat. But I really do not want you to overlook Bub Means. He had his season cut short due to injuries. In a very limited sample size, he looked really, really nice. And one more addition I think that would make me feel a little bit more confident is bringing in Keenan Allen. I think that signing Keenan Allen in free agency would make a lot of sense. I understand there are other options out there like Amari Cooper who are younger. Amari Cooper's 30, Keenan Allen's 33. But why I want Keenan Allen specifically, it's because of the familiarity that he has with Kellen Moore's offense. And in case you didn't know, one of his best seasons in his career was when Kellen Moore was the play caller for the Los Angeles Chargers. So to be totally honest, I would be much more confident if the New Orleans Saints signed Keenan Allen because then you do have another big body guy that can operate over the middle. And it's also another veteran that can quite frankly just be another depth piece and another guy that can offer more than what you have currently on the roster. So Saints fans, I want to encourage you to subscribe here to Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. For my guy, Loco Lopez, I hope y'all are having a wonderful week. And if you guys want more content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.